All right. So what got you interested in coaching?
It was kind of like a birthday present to myself,
Nice.
because I've been a big fan of this game for such a long time.
Yeah.
Uh, I just like to get better. I like to be the best, right? I have very competitive spirit, so anything I can do to gain an advantage or uh, win, right?
Yeah. Sure. Works for me. Works for me. Works for me. Um, well, happy belated birthday, I suppose.
Thanks.
Let's see here. So break me down your Overwatch background here. When did you start playing Overwatch? How long have you been playing?
I actually started playing it pretty much when the game came out on Xbox, so 2016. I
Uh
took a
huh.
little break in the middle, like 2018 or 19, and then the lockdown and all that pandemic hit, so I got
Yeah.
back into it.
Yeah.
Um, and yeah, I got back into it pretty heavy.
Okay. Cool. 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 And what heroes, what ranks have you hit? I see in the forum, Plat 5, a lot of DPS stuff. But what is, like, have you tried support? Have you tried tank? What ranks have you hit in the past? How long have you been Plat? And so on.
Yeah. I started out playing Junkrat because I thought that was such a cool hero.
I,
When it
I,
first
had, I,
came
had
out.
I had a Junkrat streak as well. I don't tell people about it,
It
but
was
yeah,
so
actually.
interesting.
Yeah.
But no, then when I got back into it, I started playing Baptiste, a little bit of like Moira, and Brig and stuff like that. I got pretty good at that, but I wanted to be the guy getting all the kills, right? So
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
switched over, watching the Overwatch League and all that, and being like, oh, that's I want to be this guy. So
All right.
I I thought Tracer was like the best hero, right? So I just
Uh
started
huh.
playing that.
Uh huh. Okay, makes sense, makes sense. And then where are you now? Are you still on the full playing a little bit of everything DPS wise train or what?
The way that it kind of goes, from my gameplay experience is like you kind of need to be able to switch every once in a while.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But mainly I play Tracer. I'll
Okay.
do like hit scan if I have to switch.
Okay. Makes sense. Makes sense. All right. All right. And what rank are you at currently? Plat?
Yeah, plat 5.
Plat 5. Okay. Sounds good. Looking through the rest of your forum. What do you hope you get out of the session? Understanding of what I'm doing correctly and what I need to focus on for improvement of my own going forward. I play an Xbox. I'm watching Alice since 2020. I have a large passion for the game. Da, da, da. I pride myself mostly on the communication I bring to my team. Interesting. What about your communication? So this is rank stuff, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
What communication do you bring?
Just calling out, like trying to put myself in a third person perspective over top of the battlefield, right?
Hmm.
And then trying to figure out what's going on. So I like Space was always somebody that I would watch on like
Oh, he's a
Twitch and
hard
whatnot, and
comer.
he would just constantly talking, and I thought that there was a ton of value in it.
Yeah, yeah. He's definitely a tryharder when it comes to that kind of stuff. Did that come before or after the Overwatch League? When you
That
started
came
watching?
after the Overwatch League.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah,
say, did
yeah,
that have
after.
anything to do with it? Do you think?
Oh yeah, those guys are all screaming at each other.
Yeah,
It's
yeah, yeah.
hilarious.
And you get all like that game sense and like your team play and so you're like trying to share some of that strategic stuff. Yeah, it makes sense. And how does that usually go in ranked? I'm curious.
Um, I've found people are either with it or they'll come in at the last second or like at the end of the game and be like, yo, blah blah blah. And I'll just start talking over and be like, yo, man, don't come in here last second and try and
Yeah,
tell me how to do it better. Like I was talking the whole game, man. Like you
yeah,
could have been here,
yeah, 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 yeah. I
and
mean,
that normally shuts them up.
that's good. That's good. I mean, it's tough because it's like it's a team game, but it doesn't really function like a team game all the time. Um, and so, as long as you enjoy doing what you're doing with the communication, that's fine. As long as your expectations, I mean, at this point in time, you know the expectations can't be too high, right? Otherwise, you're just going to get frustrated. But if you enjoy it and
Yeah.
that's something that you're leaning into, roll with it, mate. Yeah, okay. You believe my game sense is above average. Brilliant. Hero Pull, Tracer, but also Ash, Junkrat, Sojourn, May, Reaper, Widowmaker. Okay, sounds good. What circumstances do you swap off Tracer? Because I'm gonna be honest, Tracer is the most flexible DPS in. She's the most flexible hero in the game. He's the hardest counter, at least at a higher level. So, what circumstances do you find yourself feeling the need to swap?
Mainly when I'm dying too fast, which is really a lot of the issue that I'm running into. Like if
Hmm.
I just can't get the Zen and he just keeps headshotting me when I get closer. The Ana keeps sleeping me or something like that.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Makes sense. So you're actually the heroes that you can assassinate easily. Are you're realizing are also the heroes that can assassinate you easily as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's true.
Yeah.
It's definitely true. You know, you play versus these Moira Reaper compositions. It's like I can't kill anything, but I can put damage out for days, right? But then you get like these comps with like the Zenyatas and Anas. And it's like they're very fragile, but they also can pack a wall up, right? Okay, so when you swap to off of something into those compositions, Ash, Junkrat, Sojourn, May, Reaper, is it just kind of like what the map fits or what you're feeling in the moment, or is there a specific swap that you say, okay, I'm dying too quickly to these snipers or these Zenyatas and such? What is the swap?
Yeah, definitely circumstantial. Really more my team than it is the map,
Yeah,
honestly, is
yeah,
what I
makes
try and
sense.
switch off of.
Makes sense. Makes sense. So it's more like whatever synergizes well with y'all's composition.
Yes.
And then
Yeah,
how?
if we need a projectile, I'll go Junkrat instead of like an Ash.
Okay, and what dictates needing a projectile?
Like with if we have like a Reinhardt who's just hard blocking us with his shield, I'll
Mm,
switch to Junkrat and just melt the shield or something.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, let's see, looking through here. Long-term and short-term goals. Long-term would love to become top 500. Short-term is to understand the game better as far as positioning, cooldown usage, dying less. Okay, we'll take a look at that in the code, I'm sure. What is your training time like? How much do you play per average per week?
Um, yeah, that's the problem. My internet isn't fantastic, so a lot of the times I can only get in maybe like 4 to 10 hours a week, depending on how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
But I do have I do like I don't know if this counts in any way, shape, or form, but like watching Overwatch League and VODs and Twitch streamers and stuff like that to try and understand the
Okay.
game sense. I don't know if that translates, but that's a way that I try and justify it in
Um,
my head.
is that at times when your internet isn't very functional, or is that also overlapping with
Yeah,
times when you could be playing?
no, like if I'm at work and I'm not
I
doing
see what you're
anything
saying.
and
I
I
see what you're
watch
saying.
it,
Okay,
stuff
okay,
like that.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay, okay. And you said like 4 8 hours a week, depending on your internet and such.
Yep.
Okay, makes sense. Um, I mean, it's not great. In terms of
Sure.
playtime wise, it's not great. I mean, we could definitely we could squeeze a diamond out of you probably with an hour a day on average. Um, it's just going to be tough because the problem is that with you consume a lot of like educational stuff and you get a lot of ideas and strategic stuff, but you're going to fall into my category where you're like boy genius but you're garbage at the game, you know. And I'm not garbage at the game necessarily, but there's a big gap between what I'm able to do and what I know. And for you, that's probably the case as well. That's where knowledge and skill matters, right? Being able to translate your knowledge into actually actionable things and not just mechanics, but also knowing and making reads on the fly and not just sitting back there with a paused VOD or, you know, taking notes. It's a difference, right? Um, you know, definitely getting ideas of things to practice, learning more about the game will help. Uh, as long as you're translating those things into things that you can actually practice in game. But it's definitely not going to be as beneficial, especially if you have a bigger lack of playing time, if that makes sense. That's probably your biggest hindrance right now. And honestly, with your current situation with internet right now, I don't think top 500 is possible right now.
Yeah, I'm not looking for a one and done. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I'm down for multiple coaching sessions and building
Sure.
off of
Sure.
this. It's a
But
foundation starter.
sure, but honestly, you could have a coaching session every week and you still wouldn't be top 500 for a year until you're able to increase your playtime. I'd be shocked if you could. I mean, you might, but it would be extremely unlikely. So let's do this. Let's focus on what you need in terms of your execution of your gameplay right now. Let's focus on getting you to Plat 4. All right? Let's just focus on making you a better player than where you are right now and making the time that you're actually spent training more efficient and more effective. And we'll see what happens with ranked. And
Yeah, that sounds great.
maybe if your situation changes, your internet, you know, your availability and whatever, and we're able to put in more hours down the road, great, but we don't need to leapfrog the top 500. Let's focus on what the next step to get to that long-term goal is and focus on that. Maybe your circumstances change, maybe they don't, doesn't matter. Let's just focus on getting you better. Fair enough?
Understood.
Okay, let's keep going here. Goals short term to understand the game better as far as position, cooldown usage, dying less. I guess for you is like you say that your understanding is like what's holding you back, but yet you describe yourself as like somebody who's a little bit of a student of the game. Is it a little bit of the imposter syndrome where you understand enough to know that you don't know a lot about the game? What is it that you feel like is like holding you back, or like where is your understanding lacking, I guess, in particular?
I guess that's kind of my question too.
Right. That's always a tricky thing. You don't
Yeah.
know what you don't know, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are there any situations where you feel particularly lost or frustrated where you'd benefit from knowing more, I guess?
Like for example, something that I think is beneficial to me recently is like instead of dying on the payload or whatever, dying on point to like extend the time, like trying to live and get back to your team. Most of the time, right, is going to be more beneficial.
Right. Especially if you're playing something like Tracer that can get away easily.
Yeah.
Right. Makes sense. Okay. Well, we'll take a look then. Sleep is a little bit on the lower end. I'm sure you're pretty busy, but obviously 6 hours isn't super optimal, especially when you're playing something like Tracer that demands like a lot of speed, a lot of quick decision making. That even if you're able to get 6.5 on average, that would be helpful. 7 even better. Little adjustments, little improvements. Like we don't need you to be top 500 in sleep, but being a little better than where you are would be definitely helpful. Looking through your form here, I don't have a whole lot to add here. I think for you, your playtime is definitely low. If you were to aim for top 500 on DPS, I would say 2.5 hours a day of solo queue every day. You can't do that right now. So what we would hope to do is try to spread out your playtime as best as you can to try and play like as close to an hour a day as possible, if that's possible with your internet, and try to play consistently just Tracer and only swap in when necessary so that you're able to maximize the efficiency of your playtime. In addition to that, we'll VOD review here, obviously give you some specific goals so that you're not just playing Tracer, but you're playing Tracer with a purpose. So that's going to be the main objective for you, is to try and look through either, not just this VOD review, but moving forward, if you do kind of study Overwatch League, it's like to actually have skills that you can practice in your ranked games. Because when you don't have a lot of playtime, so when you're playing, you need to be very effective and very efficient with what you're doing, if that makes sense. Sound good?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I don't really have a whole lot more in your form that I want to go over. Is there anything, questions that you may have before we look at your gameplay?
I don't think I have any questions. Do you ever play cornhole?
I have, yes.
Me and my buddies play cornhole, and we always have this thing where you get all the excuses out of your pocket, like your keys, your wallet. Hold on, I gotta get my excuses out of my pocket.
Yeah.
So I just want to do that real quick. I had a month ago, like when I signed up, a couple of videos I wanted to go over, and didn't realize that when the new season happened, it reset all of it. And now all the maps are a little darker as well. So these are not my favorite replay codes, but we'll do it live.
Okay,
right?
sure. Yeah, I mean, when you say they're not your favorite, is it because you don't feel like you played well enough, or that there's like something about they weren't the best of odds, or what?
Yeah, like I have one we won really well, and then one where we lost really badly, instead of more like a closer, like 99 to 99.
True. Okay. We'll kind of smash them together and see what happens. Which one do you want to start with, at least? First or second?
It doesn't matter, either one.
Okay.
I forgot which one is which.
You're fine. First one is Holly. Does that work for you?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. Sounds good.
How
I will do this.
How am I watching this? Okay.
Right there.
Perfect.
Okay. So, Tracer, most flexible DPS in the game. Not a lot of bad matchups for you. If you are struggling versus something like a poke comp, where you're getting poked off and killed off, a lot of the issues might come down to timing or mechanics. Like you're not moving particularly well. It's too easy to shoot you. So we'll take a look at those things. I'm going to ask a lot of questions. If you're not sure of the answer, then that means the question is a good question because it means there's a gap in your understanding that needs to kind of be filled, I guess. So if you're not sure the answer, don't feel bad. I'm asking you the question because I want you to think about it and come up with an answer, or as your best guess to an answer. I might even ask questions that I know you don't have the answer to, but I want you to think about it. Make sense?
Makes sense.
Okay, let's take a look here. So, what are Tracer's strong points? What is the hero better at compared to other DPS supports, tanks, and so on?
Very mobile. You can get in and out faster than pretty much anybody. And the one clip potential is very heavy with your damage and your ultimate.
Sure, exactly. Okay, so how do you leverage that mobility? Like, how do you get value out of it, right?
You play around corners and you close distances quickly.
Let me ask you a question. If I'm playing Cassidy, I would love to go onto their backline and kill their Cass and their Ashe, like flank them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I can't always do that. Why?
Because you can't get there.
Right, you can't get there. Or if you do get there, you die for it, right?
Sure, yeah.
So now translate that to Tracer. How do you leverage that mobility?
Yeah, you can get to the backline very easy.
Right. You can pick any target that you want, and most of the time, you can pressure that target. And even if you don't kill that target, the fact that you're pursuing that 1v1 means that that's probably a very squishy target. When you shoot squishy targets, they squeal like pigs. And when they squeal, what do their supports do? Or what does the tank do? Or what does the other DPS do?
Turn away from your front line and try and help them.
So if you find a way to get onto that Ashe or Cassidy, it's not just a 1v1, it's a 3v1. And a 3v1 that you could pretty easily survive, creating a resource advantage for your team. Does that make sense?
Yep.
So everything about Tracer is answering two questions. What are the targets that I want to pressure? Or what's the best flank position for me to take to put out the most damage? And when you answer those questions, then it comes down to timing that pressure at a good time where your team can shoot, and that's it. If it's a strict 1v1, then great. Then you don't have to, then you just take the 1v1 and you kill the 1v1. You're the best 1v1 hero in the entire game. So, like right now, is now a good time for you to pressure. Use your peripheral vision. Use your spider senses here. Is something happening? Is there a fight happening right now?
Yes, my Sigma's taking damage.
Well, even if you didn't have the advantage of scouting the top right? Let's go back and like just use your ears and your eyes looking through walls. You can see your tanks, right? So listen. Do you hear that?
Are there Ramachas pushing up on us?
Yeah, you could just hear clunks and cooldowns and hack and smash and punches, right?
Yeah.
So is what you're doing right now good?
Yes.
Yes, right. Good target, good timing, good cover usage. You've maintained almost all of your blinks. Brilliant. So either this Ashe dies, or the enemy supports hard peeler and their Ramacha dies. See it?
Yeah.
Predicted that, didn't we? Now, I'm going to be honest with you. The Ashe should have died. You messed up.
I know, right?
She should have died. You should have meleeed right there.
Should have hit her?
You should have meleeed. You also mess up your mechanics there. But I would not have even, honestly, I would not have even blinked here. You see this? This is a mistake. Why? Bottom right of your screen.
The Kiriko is right there.
Look at your cooldowns.
Oh yeah, I got no resources.
No recall. So what do? How do you play with no recall?
You want to get back to your or take a hiding place, right? Set up for the next...
Not even necessarily. You just need to play a little bit less aggressively, right? So what would that look like? What could you do right now? What should you do right now?
Just hide around that corner to my left and kind of shoot their
Yeah, just shoot the
Lucio
Kiriko.
or
Shoot the
Kiriko.
Lucio. Right,
Yeah.
right. Just be a distraction, but a distraction where if I get shot, I can duck behind the corner or even grab the Mega Health Pack, right? Now, there are exceptions to that rule. Let's say this Kiriko is 1 HP. Would you go for the kill?
Yeah, it's low risk because all they have is the Lucio to fight me.
Well, even if it is high risk, it's a high reward as well, right?
Gotcha.
This is a problem because the Kiriko is legitimately completely full HP and you have no recall. This is the problem, right? So you could die here for this. And that would be an awful shame. In fact, she just misses her shots because you did your job already, right? You distracted, you harassed, you threatened to kill, you killed the Ramatra. Please don't die for that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now we can go back in. We have our recall, we're positioned, and we have blinks. So, lots of good things about what we did. Good target, good timing. Mechanics were okay, but I'm a little concerned about the level of aggression that we played with our cooldowns afterwards. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we can go ahead and get set up for next fight. Because you can kind of see the problem here is that this isn't not our best matchup. You know, it's not bad, but you can see the problem here. Why does your recall get forced?
Because I walked into the middle of the fight.
Right. You got headshot by Kiriko. A Kiriko that you can't even see. That's the problem. See, this is why you focus Ashes and Kirikos and Zenyatas, because if you don't focus them, then they're the ones that kill you, right? You need to at least have your eyes on them so that you can effectively threaten and or dodge them. Now, does that mean that you should never focus Tank or Lucio? No, absolutely you can. But like, let's say you were to focus Tank or Lucio, where should you be positioned to focus Tank or Lucio?
I should have been in that right hallway or going high ground on the ladder on the elevator.
How about if you focus Tank or Lucio from here?
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
That way the Kiriko can't see me.
Right. So you're either killing the squishies or you're avoiding the squishies entirely. There's no in between. Because see, from here, you could create a nice little off angle, and even though it's a Tank and a Lucio, it's still okay, right? There's going to be times where you're like, I can't go high ground. Like there's a Mercy Pocket here, and there's a Tracer drilling me. Like I can't get there. Okay, take a different angle. Pressure them from here. Right?
Right.
So that's why we get a recall first. Now that our recall is forced, what do you think about what you're doing right now? No recall. So can we go on that Ash anymore?
No.
No. So what do you think about what you're doing?
It could be worse. Not
could be
too
worse. Yeah, I agree. Sure, certainly could be worse because we're looking for something low risk, low reward, like we talked about earlier. This is okay. The pulse bomb whiffed. That's kind of tragic. The pulse bomb, by the way, was probably fine. I pulse bomb on a tank mid fight outside of like an Orisa with Fortify. It's probably fine. So this is okay. He's gonna die. Nice job. Still a little bit concerning about nice tracking. Just be careful about again fighting in front of Ash. You know when you can't shoot the Ash. Oh, she just juked you. Watch this. She's underneath. Oh, she might still die. Got her. Okay. Set up your angle. Do you see how, like, as this fight has gotten messy, you've kind of lost your way? And now if we look at your positioning, where are you positioned? Are you abusing Tracer strengths right now?
Not at all.
Nah, you're just standing in front of the middle of the enemy team. So where could you be optimally? There's a few ideas. What are some of those ideas? What do you think?
I could be behind the Hanzo.
Right. That would have taken some effort to get there, though, right? So maybe we can't get there. At the very least, you could be like wrapping around this way. You could be 1v1ing the Cassidy in here. You could have wrapped back around this way and taken an angle here and then blinked through to the Hanzo here. Just avoid where we are right now. You can't avoid what you can't see. That's why standing in the middle is so bad. When you're on the perimeter or the periphery, everything's in front of you, right? Everything. When you're in the middle, you have over half the team behind you. That's the problem. Okay. All this making sense so far, by the way?
Oh yeah.
All right. Okay. So even in a stomp, which is this VOD, there's still lots to learn. Because we could talk about what could have or what should have happened, and even when you're winning fights, you could see like, well, this was harder than it should have been, or it was messier than it needed to be.
Yeah.
Now, again, you see the problem here, right? The funny thing here is that focusing Zarya isn't even necessarily bad, because look at how aggressive she is and look at her team, right? She's feeding. But what's the problem with your positioning? Remember the Ashe and high ground problem?
Yeah, I can't see the people that are fighting me.
Are you hiding from the squishies right now?
Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit. Are you pressuring the squishies right now?
No.
So you've checked no on both boxes, you failed the test, right? You either are here or here, right? Shooting the Zarya, or you're what? What is the other option?
Pressuring the squishies.
Pressuring these guys, flanking these guys, right? Just because at this point in time, would you kill one of these 3 or 4 targets? Likely.
Probably not.
Probably not. Not even the Widowmaker. No. But what would that allow you to do?
Sure. Keep resources from the Zarya.
Exactly. Probably more damage than you'd even do to the Zarya directly, and it would also be safer for you. Why?
Because the Zarya can kill you pretty quickly.
Well, it's not just the Zarya.
Rest of the team is looking at me.
Right, but you can see, you actually got body shot by a Widow. When you could see the Widow, you could see when she's scoped, you can blink around her stuff, right? You have your back to the things focusing you. You need to face them right up so that you know how to move, how to juke, how to dodge, how to use your blinks, what cover matters, right? Does that make sense? Remember, you're either dueling the squishies or you're avoiding the squishies. That's the rule. That way, you can it's the safest thing for you to do. Because again, right there, very dangerous that you're not in a position to pressure squishies or avoid them. Unfortunate. I just don't think the Moira's a good target if she doesn't have fade.
Yeah.
Something definitely to practice as well. Okay, we're beat. Nice. Another question as well is this the best angle for you to be positioning right now?
No. I should be actually pretty much where I'm looking at, shooting back at them.
Yeah, I wonder if you could wrap around here. If you see this Widow on high as well, you see this flank over here?
Yeah.
Right? Force her to sit in middle of her team, right? If she's in the middle of her team, then she's just in a really bad spot, right? You could flank here, you could wrap around, yeah. I mean, this part of the map is definitely kind of tricky. There's not as many flanks, but you could definitely be positioned better. Okay. Nice little combo. Nice. Okay. Now, get off the cart. Go careful, careful, careful. Oh, no. Okay, now, let me ask you a question. Why do you die to the Sojourn? You're up 1, right?
Yeah.
Wrong.
Because I don't have a recall.
I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. Okay, watch. Do you see what's on your screen?
Genji dash.
Wait, you see what's on your screen? Watch, I'm gonna keep zooming out. Do you see what's on your screen? Do you see what's on your screen? Do you see what's on your screen? Look. Keep looking. What's not? Where's your team?
Oh.
That's my problem here. The problem here is it's actually not. Okay, first off, you didn't have recall, right? So you need to be very careful about how aggressively you play without recall, right? Remember that? The second problem is that you're up 1, but you're not really up 1 here. Where are you up 1?
On payload?
Here, and here, and here, and here, right? Not here. Does that mean what you're doing right now is a feed? Well, no. Just be careful. Just be careful. You see what I'm saying? Because you can go like, oh, I kill somebody, let's push, but somebody has to push the payload. Somebody has to help the fight over here. So this is actually a 2 versus 1, and you don't have your recall. I mean, good luck with that one. I don't care how good you are at Tracer, right?
Yeah.
So just be careful. Be aware of where your team is set up, and be aware of whether you have recall or not. Because this is not a waste of time what you did there. Because you could be basically, oh, I don't have recall, so what could I do differently here?
I could get a payload, or I can just hang out and cover for a second.
Yeah, you could just play to distract these guys, right? Just kind of play around this mini. Just, hey, look here, guys, look over here. Meanwhile, your team is throttling them on cart, right? And then maybe you get help, and maybe then you fight elsewhere. But my point here is that, like, right here, all you needed to do was just survive. Because even your Sombra's out. You see that? Your Sombra's out. So you go in. All you need to do is just control this angle, control the space, survive, and then you win the fight off of that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
All right, let's keep going. Oh yeah, nice, very good. Ooh. Probably would have grabbed the health pack there.
Yep.
Now here's another thing too. So I don't mind the Genji focus, but what's the problem with the Genji focus right now? Where is chasing the Genji putting you right now?
In the middle of the fight.
Right. And what do you not have right now?
Recall.
Right. So where should you be playing and focusing instead?
I should be with my Lucio on that right side there.
I mean, really just sit here, right? Just keep damaging from this flank right here, and then if you get pressured, you can blink away. Like, my point is, I don't ever want you standing inside of your backline, usually. I don't want you standing inside in the middle of the enemy team, usually. So try and find the angle or flank that works best for you, given whether your recall is there or not. If that makes sense.
Got it.
This is a very risky play, but it makes no sense going to a Genji. Like, maybe if this was like a Widowmaker, it was like 1 HP, it's probably worth it to get the kill. But you know this guy's not going to die fast. And you're just kind of stuck in the middle of nowhere, right? So, we even lose our flank now. Now we're back on we're on cart, okay? Careful. We're playing very aggressively right now, but we have a recall, right? So, okay. Pulse on is fine, doesn't quite hit though. Disaster. Being on the flank helps. That's, for example, that reason right there, right? You don't want to get caught up in all the crap that they're aiming at other people. Okay, do you have any questions so far? We've been moving at a brisk pace, but any questions?
No, it's great. I keep blinking in when I don't have recall, and that's, pretty simple fix.
Right. Playing around your recall, making sure that you're setting up a good off angle, and either avoiding backline or pressuring backline.
Or knowing where they're at, yeah.
Right. So that you can avoid their sight lines. Okay, let's keep going here. Again, I look at their backline. I see Cassidy now, Kiriko, Junkrat. Those are targets that we can do work on.
Yeah, I'm just trying to follow my Sombra at the moment.
Yeah, I like that. Now, if you didn't have Sombra, who would you be playing around? Because you'd have no help on backline directly, but you don't need help on backline. You just need a distraction. So who's your distraction if it's not Sombra?
When the Sigma pushes in?
Sure. Now, what if your Sigma doesn't push in? Now, Sigma is not very likely to push in.
Whenever the opposite team is aggressive?
Yeah, you see? There's always an answer. Even if it's just your Sigma freaking spamming the front line and forcing a bubble and the Zarya needs healing, that's enough of a distraction, right? Is now a good time to go? Yes. Sigma is spamming, Baptiste is spamming, Sombra's on the setup. This is brilliant. I really like this. Are we surprised that this worked? No. This is brilliant. This is good fundamental Overwatch right here. Nice job. And I want to point something out as well. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but you see Kiriko? Look at what Kiriko can see right here. Do you see your body on the other side of the car?
Oh, okay.
You see it?
Yeah.
She can't see you. She can't headshot you. And you can isolate Zarya, right? You see this? She's trying to shoot you, and you're just juking her.
Nope, didn't even notice.
That's exactly what we want you to do. Either you're shooting the Kiriko, or you're shooting the tank while avoiding the squishy sidelines. Even the Ashe, right? She couldn't help, right? So I think, like I said, a little bit of an accident that worked out like that, but you see why that looked so good, right?
Yeah.
Nice job. Now we set up and we do it again. Oh, you got baited. You're Sombra. You're like, okay, we're going. You're like, crap. No, I'm stuck with my pants down. Now, it ends up working out a little bit. Why is this working? Do you want to guess where your Sigma was? You should be able to predict
Fighting the tank?
Yeah. pushed up way. You should think that this shouldn't work, but it does. This is why. You see? Kind of aggressive for a Sigma to be playing here, but he indirectly actually helped you out. Because do you see what the Zarya sees? The Kiriko and Moira? They're feeding, push, guys. Look at, what are they doing? They're pushing through the choke, right? And then what does that set up? You see it?
Yeah.
Right? Works out perfect. Your Mercy's on the flank. No way, this is crazy. What, wait, did your Mercy just straight up follow? Your Mercy straight up followed. This is wild. But you know what? This is good team play, right? This is again not a surprise why this works. So obviously, like this is, you said this is one of the stomps, but we can also look at this and be like, why was this such a stomp? Now, what's the problem here? This is the irony. You've been kind of a goofball when it comes to not having recall, right?
Yeah.
Look at your HP. Look at your recall. What should you do right now?
I should go hide right next to their spawn, pretty much. Set up for the next fight.
Well, the fight's still going, is my point. Do you see this? Your Sombra's still here.
Blink in.
Your Sombra's still here. Your Sigma's still spamming. You still see your shield. So, what should you do?
Take out their healers.
Yeah, go for the healers. Go. Distract the Moira, distract the Kiriko. I mean, I know that those heroes aren't exactly your favorite to shoot, but let's go. Kill that Zarya by focusing Moira. Kill that Kiriko by focusing, or kill that Moira by focusing Kiriko, and so on. Like, it's like you got the kill, and then you're like, your team is actually still fighting. You still have triple blink. You still have recall. You still have full HP, and you're like, peace. Not necessary. Now, this is the next best thing you could be doing, right? Which is, you see what you're doing positionally wise? Avoiding squishies, shooting tank, right?
Yeah.
But there's no reason for you to do this. You were in a good position to go for backline. You got the kill. You had your resources. Your team was still fighting. Keep going.
Okay.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. Oh, disaster. Now they go Bastion, but honestly, I don't know about you, but Bastion is like freeload for me. Especially when you got full spawn, you know?
Yeah, just line aside his terraform.
Yeah.
Chilling.
Yeah. Terrifying. Okay. Now, you tell me what the issue is here, besides the fact that you just whiffed it.
My team is backing up.
Doesn't matter.
And I'm going in? No?
Oh, okay. To an extent, yes, but your team can still serve as a distraction even if they're backing up, right? We saw that earlier with your Sigma and Batiste backing up, right? And the enemy team is getting bloodthirsty.
Immortality field.
Right. I think the big thing for me is just the immortality field to an extent. Also, I just think you could have waited just a little bit longer. I think you could have let them walk in just a little bit more, just so it's a little bit easier. It's okay to be a little bit late as a Tracer, because you're very dangerous. So if you can let your team distract first and then you kill, it's okay. That being said, we're okay. It's kind of interesting again that you back out though, because I know it's a Moira, but I would be thinking I'm gonna go grab a health pack and live in their backline as long as I can keep my recall. Because the problem is then by running back this direction, you're actually at a high risk of dying. Do you see this? Look at your blinks.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes the safest thing that you could do as Tracer is not to run to your team. It's to run deeper in the flank and grab a health pack and live in their backline.
All right.
Something to consider. Because by running towards your team, you might run through the middle of the enemy. And like you just saw there, you can die. You can die. So be careful. So it's like finding that balance between, can I run, should I run? And if I do run because I don't have recall or no blinks or whatever, should I really run back to my team? Is that the safest position for me to be? And sometimes the answer is no. Now, you had a tough decision to make here. Because once this Junkrat clears you, what are your options? You choose one option here, which is what? What's the option here?
To shoot the tank and kind of hang out, really.
Right,
Not
avoid
really
the squishies, shoot the tank, right?
Yeah.
Was that the best decision? What was your other option?
I could go try and kill the Junkrat while he's tiring, or just pressure the squishy back.
This would feel bad, right? Running right through the enemy team. What about This flank here.
Okay.
Maybe something. Maybe
go
something.
to the BAP.
Right? It's sneakier, right? Something to consider. So what you're doing here is not bad. It just may not be the best use of your hero's mobility, I guess is my point.
Sure.
And because we end up trading with a tank, which is not something that you're terrible at if you can avoid the backline, but there were opportunities to go for backline there, and you chose not to go for them. Get rolled? Anytime you're staring at front of any hero, if you're not avoiding them or moving them or making them move their crosshair, I mean, especially in console, right? Because it is agony to move your crosshair in console, right? So abuse that. Make them move the crosshair. Like even right here, right now, where's the optimal play? As soon as this fight starts, where do you want to be?
Kind of following my Sombra.
Sure.
Wherever they're gonna hack the targets.
Sure. Not here, right? If we can get set up here, if we can maybe get in here, right? You know what I'm saying? Not here. Front line is not your friend. Now I get it, this choke is hard. It's hard to set up a flank, but then now, do you see what flank has just opened itself wide open?
The left side to the back.
Yeah, oh yeah. Kill this guy, and then flank here, or then flank here, or then flank here, right? So we need to be aware of that, right? But no, what do? Our flank gets checked, so we just follow our tank. Now you're doing fine. Your timing was really, really good, because look at when you go aggressively. You see this?
Yeah, we gotta pick.
And look at your Rhine. See? Your Reinhardt is creating all the distraction for you. And you even EMP as well, right? So your team is helping you out, but it is not the most effective use of your attention. It's not the best position for you to be taking.
Cool.
That's why Tracer can be hard in some maps, like Lijiang Tower can... Well, that's not Control Center, but any map where the flanks aren't very good, it can be hard, but there's ways of working around it. You're thinking about it. You're thinking about it. Go. Flank. No! Do you see even how you get to the backline is right through the heart, right?
Yeah, they're all looking at me.
Right. Wrap around this way, because they're not even controlling this flank anymore, right? They're not even trying to check it. You and your Sombra can go all the way through every time. So I appreciate you're going for backline here, but I don't like how you're doing it.
Yes.
You know, Pulse Farm was fine, but that was honestly... I'm not interested in the the 2Ks. I'm more interested in good fun. I'm the boring teacher, right? You have a nice play. I'm like that, the coach guy. It's like good play, but you didn't do the right thing, so no.
All the BAP had to do is not walk back out into it.
Right. What's the problem here?
They're all looking at me.
Why are they all looking at you?
They can't die.
Why are they all looking at you?
Because I'm exposed and my team isn't there.
That's the big one, right? That's it. That's all it is, right? You can't win like this, right? Your Ryan, Sombra, Mercy, and Baptiste are not doing any damage at all, so of course they're all going to look at you. You can't win. It's a 5v1. Now, imagine if you take that time when you won the fight to go hide over here and set up up here.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because I get it. Again, this choke is hard. I'm not going to tell you that, oh, it's super easy. I mean, even this choke is hard, right? You had to basically be in their backline or let them walk through the choke, then flank them, right? But you had an opportunity to actually set up, and you chose to not take it. You chose to instead just go. And then imagine if you'd come up to these exact same stairs, but hid. Yeah. And went now. Oh, my days. I mean, you see it? You see it? Fights won.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Fights just straight up won. You just straight up won it. So this fight's lost. So honestly, maybe just hide here. I would get out. No recall. Get out. Get out. I think you could definitely get out. This kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier about dying on cart versus getting out. That was definitely a situation where you could have gotten out or at least reset. Your team manages to clutch it.
Yeah,
oh no, we're going back. Go. Nice. But again, how did you get there? Right through the gullet.
I walked right through him, yeah.
Right through him. Use that mobility, because it's not just the access to the squishies, it's access to the squishies with the element of surprise, and it's access to the squishies without having to double blink in. So you can get there with all three blinks. Why is that important?
I need them to fight.
You need him to fight. Exactly. So I appreciate the targets that you're going for. I just don't appreciate how you're going for them.
Yeah.
Unfortunate. I mean, I appreciate you trying to like read your recall there, but okay. That was. Wait, what happened here? Did they just C9 it or what?
Yeah.
That is hilarious. She kills two and just like kind of walks off and that's it. Okay. I got about 15 more minutes if you want to keep going.
Sure, man.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, let's take a look at this next code here. Do you have any questions so far? We've been like all over Tracer. You know, we've talked about every single topic, but so far so good. Or do you have any questions?
No, it's yeah, all great advice.
Okay.
I feel like I'm getting it pretty well.
I love console names, man. It's Good Steve, Big Daddy Dark, Dry Cereal, Terry Ketchu, Frosty Feet. What would possess somebody to say, you know what, I'm gonna name myself Frosty Feet? That's what I'm gonna go with today. That's hilarious. Okay. Wait, is this Sombra a duo?
I don't know any of these people now.
Really? Okay, wait, is this the same Sombra? Is this the same Sombra?
Yeah, it's the same team, 100% from the last game. Everybody's
yeah, it is. That's weird. So I guess you were the solo queue that got tossed into a 4v4 essentially, or that's funny. Okay.
Yeah, the Sombra at the start was like, just pushing hard on my EMPs, which I don't think I did a great job of, but it was good advice.
Okay, so far I think you're trying to time things well most of the time. Some of the times you're not paying attention to where your team is set up, so you're going too early. I think the majority of you what are you seeing so far as being the bigger issues so far?
Not using stealth really, not playing to the advantage of this, and being aggressive when I don't have my resources. Or the team isn't fighting as well.
100%. Okay. I mean, you're very late to the party, but this is the right play. Given your Sombras and your Lucios in, I probably would have avoided, like, you could even see it here though. So like, you go in late, but you see how you're like leaning back towards your team? Don't do that.
Yeah.
Lean to this angle, lean to this flank, get back here, and then run back to the flank over here. It's so dangerous for you to be here. Okay, good, reset. Now listen, you're gonna have to listen very carefully. Okay? This is working because your Lucio's feeding. Nice! Get out. No, not back to your team! Right? What do you do? What do you do here optimally? Okay, you did a great job. Your Lucio fed, you helped, you punish them for focusing the Lucio down. Now what do you do? Recall forced, bam, what do you do? You got 2 blinks.
I can go left or right and go back.
Left is pretty hairy, but right, just go right back to your team. Get healing by your mercy, go back on the flank again. This is crazy. Low risk, low reward. Can the Bastion see you?
No.
Can the Torbjorn see you?
No.
Batiste?
Nope.
This is kind of what we talked about, right? You're shooting the tank by LOSing the squishies. Now, my question here, though, is if you'd been on the left flank, what would have been better at this point in time?
I could have gone for the Torb respawning, or I could have probably distracted the Moira from getting back with the team.
Yeah. Look at this Bastion as well from this corner here, right? Probably a better target, right? So this flank is okay, but obviously like it ends up kind of sucking you back into the tank trade, and it's not bad, but you're not able to go for quite the best targets that you would have liked to. Now I get Torb is like kind of a messy matchup, but would have liked it a little bit better than what we did there. But timing-wise, outside of being a little bit late on that first one, looked okay. Ha! Get rolled. Guys got the aim hack on. Is now a good time to go?
No, we're down a DPS and our Mercy's busy rezzing our other healers.
Is there a fight going on right
really
now?
Low. No, they're mainly just pushing cart.
You sure? Look at your screen.
Is there a fight?
I mean, look at your screen.
Yeah, yeah.
Like,
yeah, they're fighting.
Yeah, go.
They're
go.
dying. They're dying, but they're
fighting.
fighting.
Go. I mean, they're dying, but you know, if you're gonna win this fight, it's gonna be right now. And even if you lose it, you know, you could get out again. Go. Yes. 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 Good. Now get out. You lost the fight. Now stop. You see, even now, where was your immediate instinct?
Die on cart.
Die in cart or push recall. Where were you trying to run?
Straight down the middle of the fight.
Straight back to your team. Right. Instead of running back to the fight. Because what you did here was very reasonable. Very reasonable. If this fight was clutchable, it would have been with what you did right here. Just going in with your team, trying to cause a distraction. Unfortunate. Honestly, not that bad. But you get coming up in 3 blinks. Go this way. Back to the flank. Go live in the flank. Because by running out here, you've just confirmed your death. And it also means that it takes you longer to set up for next fight. Because even if you do run back to your team and survive, it usually means that your next flank isn't as good because you're not set up. We saw that the previous fight, or the fight before last. Okay.
Yeah, just struggling to set up for the next fight. Gotcha.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Your Sombra's dead. Is your team still fighting this? You don't know, do you?
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's a problem. If you haven't showed me on your camera the answer to that question, then you had no way of knowing in the moment. And if we look, the answer is no. You see? Your Sombra messed up. You've now also messed up. And you really are... Oh, I pray that you don't run back towards your team. Run this way. Run this way. Let's see what happens. I knew it! I knew it. You're screwed. You're screwed. Surely. Oh, no. Maybe. Well, the bad news is, though, even though you're not screwed, where are you?
Right in the middle of the fight.
Right in the middle of the enemy team. You're not even on a good flank, right? Because the worst case scenario, you could have backed out and been like, oh, shoot, I guess we're flexing. I guess we are fighting. Well, guess what? You're right back on the back line again. Here, oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Oh, boy. Yeah. You know what the good news is? Your issues are consistent.
That is actually really good.
It is a blessing to have consistent issues. I've worked with some players that are kind of mediocre at everything, but aren't really bad at anything, and it's like, oh boy, you gotta work at like everything. For you, you're doing a lot of good things. I don't know how much of it is because this team was communicating with you and you were communicating with them, but your timing, like the concept of pressuring at the same time with your team, is mostly okay. Your mechanics are mostly okay, but that one bad habit is killing you, is absolutely killing you. Now here you might, I mean, honestly, even here you could just run over here, right? I mean, you got a mega or a mini, excuse me, over here. I think there's a mega over here somewhere too. Yeah, see over here. So you could just live over here, reset, push in back next fight, you know? Oh dear. Your tank player is now on hog. It's never a good sign. Wait, no, you can't do that. Crap. Check it, you see?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's right there. I think there's a health pack over here. I'm 90% sure. There's no way there's not a health pack over here. It's over here, right? Oh yeah, there's a mini here. Okay. Something to kind of keep in mind. A little sneakier than what we're doing right here as well. This is honestly okay. So I flatter you on your timing, and then you pull this one on me. 1v5. That's all right. All right, let's keep going. But honestly, that's how snowballs happen, right? One person goes in, then your team has to take a 4v5, and then they die, and then you're like, should I fight? What do I do? Yeah, this is just a disaster. Okay. And then even here, though, right? Like even here, where should you be setting up? I know you have to worry about touch, but you don't have to worry about touch now, right? You just run right in the middle of the enemy team, and you're cooked. Okay. Let's keep going. You good to go for at least 5 more minutes?
Yeah, of course.
All right. Oh, Widowmaker? Do you want to look at Widowmaker, or do you want to skip?
That's just for the first couple shots.
All right. Sojourn? Yes, no? Skip?
I think Sojourn is the rest of the way.
Okay. Do you want to look at some Sojourn then?
Sure, of
All
course.
right. Let's take a look at some Sojourn then. All right. Da, 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 da. We'll type up all our Tracer goals in a second here. So Sojourn's a fine pick there. Like if you feel like you're struggling a little bit. So we won't have a lot of time to like explain everything about Sojourn. What I'll try and do is give you a couple of tips that might help you with your practice if you do swap Sojourn.
Okay.
Number one, please don't position out in the middle of the open. Even just like here, better, right? The other thing too is, do you notice the mistake here? You're a little delayed with it, but be very careful about low charge shots.
Yeah, I've been noticing that.
The other thing here, oh, that was good. I think you slid up thinking you'd get the kill, but you forgot how low charge you get from shooting destructibles. So you're thinking like, I have like 60, 70 charge, right? No, you have 35. That being said, nice shot. Be careful about that. As long as you have it when the fight starts, it's good. But if you use it pre-fight, you don't have it when the fight starts. It's always a problem. 100 charge. Love to see it. Don't ever do that.
Don't waste it on the tank. Okay.
Unless that tank is low, you have to remember that the headshot multiplier, you used to be able to chunk, like, even with armor, like a pretty decent chunk of HP with it. It's just not the case anymore. The almost one shot is so much more important, right?
Yeah.
Like right there, you see it? You're kind of feeding with your positioning here, but you just force lamp. That's a great E. That's a great E. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, look at this. Look, fade forces the BAP to hide. It might actually kill the BAP. Oh my gosh, what a great E. Nice job. You shift out. That's good. Let's keep damaging. Nicely done. Ah, lazy with the rail too. Now the other thing to notice about the rail too is like, look at the rail here. Look at the charge that you're at, 50. Why even rail at all here?
Yeah.
I think what happens is, and this happens when I play Sojourn too, is like you get like the visual feedback and everything just gets like so hectic. You just like start smashing right click or the equivalent of right click for console, right? You're just like, blah, blah, you know? But you have like the best Sojourns are like clinical. Like you have to be ice cold because she's a very chaotic hero. So you have to be very calm. Charge your shot, hit your shot. Charge your shot, hit your shot. Charge your shot, hit your shot. You kind of see what I'm saying? So just chill.
For sure. Yeah, my heart definitely races when that when it's supposed to get close to it.
Don't freak. You're good. A little bit goofy E. The intention was fine, but you just needed to like actually aim it, you know?
Yeah.
Nice shot. Unfortunate. I mean, honestly, there's a lot of things that you're doing well. I just think you just need to chill a little bit. Okay, let's stop there. So, two things with Sojourn I'd add is Sojourn, chill with the rail plus rail charge. Avoid shooting tanks with rail once charged. I mean, even the rail itself, like, even the projectile weapon itself, you're not building a lot off of shields, so tank focus is not always the play. Okay, but this is the big one. Tracer. What were the main takeaways with Tracer? What were the main skills and or habits that need to be broken or improved?
The goal of Tracer is to either be attacking the squishies or at least know where they're at if I'm shooting the tank. And then using my fight winning to set up for the next fight by getting their backline instead of running back to my team. Stop running back to my team down the middle of the fight, period, end of story.
Through, I'm going to type up some checkpoints. Let me know what you think. And blank.
Sure. Don't go aggressive when you don't have recall. That's pretty easy.
when running What do you think? Look good to you?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks good to me.
Okay. Maybe add as well just timing pressure with enemy friendly engage, or even just spam. Lots to consider. Key thing for you is to not be overwhelmed. Like, especially with the amount of playtime that you have right now, these are long-term goals to master. So your approach should be to execute on the knowledge that you now have by building one of these skills a little bit at a time. Maybe a day, maybe 2 days, maybe a week, where you focus on one of these skills at a time. When you get bored, when you feel like you make a little bit of progress, move on. Don't wait for yourself to master it. Just make some improvements, make some strides, get a little bit better at it, and then move on to the next thing. That way, what you'll have done is you'll have trained your autopilot, your skill, to be a little bit better than where it was before. 5% better, 3% better, 4% better, and then you move on. And you just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Now, again, your playtime is a big hindrance, but we can make that playtime more efficient and more effective by actually using any one of these goals at a time to give you something to practice while you're playing, instead of just playing the game for the sake of playing. Make sense?
Yeah, don't try and master all of those at once. Take them one step at a time, little by little.
And don't even try to master one of them at all, even one at a time. Just look for small improvements, because if you're like, let's say, for example, playing more cautiously, knowing how to play around recall, that's a really tough subject, right? That's a very nuanced, difficult thing. So just look for improvements at it so that it's good enough to move on. Because otherwise, if you're like, oh, I have to play to master it, you might spend a year.
Yeah.
And that would be so boring. Like, it'd be so boring. Don't do that to yourself. Okay. Do you have any questions?
I don't believe so.
Okay. If you do have any questions, you can shoot me a message anytime.